Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our first NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and now in the Florida Panhandle as well. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. The New Orleans Pelicans, 6 games left, even in the loss column, with Oklahoma City facing a huge week. Home Tuesday night against the league's best team in Golden State, then back-to-back Wednesday night travel to Memphis to play one of the league's best teams, and home Friday against Phoenix. Lenny, they have a shot, largely because Oklahoma City is not playing as well, and they've played tough teams, and they're having trouble defending. So this is kind of a crapshoot the rest of the way, but as you look at this with 6 left, we talked about it prior to, I thought they'd have to win 7 and 9. I think they have to win at least 4 of these.
That sounds about right. You can't expect Oklahoma City to do you many more favors. At this point, the rest of the way, the schedule certainly favors Oklahoma City. What happened the last week? The schedule favored the Pelicans. You got some bottom feeders that came onto the schedule. OKC had to face Dallas and Memphis on the road, and then come home and play Houston, and what happened? They lost 3 in a row. But the schedule the rest of the way really leans more towards the Thunder. Now, again, you got to play the games. You just don't know. But it's exciting to be in a playoff discussion here. You know, basically 2 teams for 1 spot going down the stretch. You control your destiny because you have the tiebreaker in hand. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's look ahead 10 days from now when San Antonio comes in on the final day of the season. How great would it be if the 2 teams are tied going into that last day and it's winning in for the Pelicans? Effectively a playoff game at that point. The Smoothie King Center is going to be rocking if that's the case that night. Who knows who Greg Popovich will play in the game, but still in all, that will be a fun atmosphere if that happens on the 15th.
Yeah, I think Monty Williams would take that equation right now. He'd take that deal and say, let's go with it. So we'll see what transpires. It all starts with Golden State Tuesday night. We'll have coverage at SportsNOLA.com. The New Orleans VooDoo, after a big first week, came down to earth. Second week, got whipped by Cleveland, who right now clearly appears to be the best team in the league, especially after Arizona got beat this past weekend. So there was tall timber. They stepped up in class, if you were, and they weren't able to handle it at that point.
Yeah, you know, look, to the 2 teams you've played the first 2 weeks, to be 1-1 at this point, that's not a bad situation to be in. Is this a one-hit wonder, as you alluded to in your story before the game on Saturday? I'm not sure that's the case, but I think it's certainly somewhere in the middle is where this team will probably settle into.
Yeah, it's interesting because Orlando, who comes in this Saturday night, beat Jacksonville by 1 point this past Saturday night. New Orleans beat Jacksonville by 1 point. So this ought to be an interesting matchup Saturday night, 7 p.m. at Smoothie King Center. College baseball, of course, the weekend ended prematurely for most teams because of the Easter weekend, and Tulane salvaged a game in East Carolina. LSU, of course, got a big sweep. It took them a long time to get it.
38 innings over the course of 3 days. That was a lot of baseball. And kudos, you know, the one thing that's been getting kind of beat up a little bit for LSU is the bullpen. Well, guess what? The bullpen stepped up in a big way. Yeah, did they blow a couple of save opportunities on Thursday to drag that game into 16 innings? Certainly, but the job they did on Saturday to be able to kind of hold the rope, hold the Skip Bertman term there, give your offense a chance to get back in it, certainly was big. And to get that sweep in Hoover, nudge up a spot to number 4. A lot of teams, as you're getting into, starting to get into April, have dropped some games here. LSU's number 4 in the D1 baseball poll, up a spot as of Monday. So busy week for them as they've got a couple of midweek games and then playing Auburn this weekend.
Back to basketball, of course, the national championships are set. Women's play UConn and Notre Dame. Seen that before, been there, done that, and UConn's going to win, so let's move on. So let's talk about the men. That's tonight, of course, and you've got Duke and Wisconsin, an intriguing matchup. Duke won at Wisconsin by 10 earlier this year at Madison. Very impressive win, and they're playing great. Wisconsin, a tremendous effort against Kentucky. I'm just wondering if they can put that back-to-back, considering the emotions spent in that game.
Talking off camera about this very topic before we stepped on camera here, if you want to throw back 1991, Duke's first championship with Coach K, they were in the similar spot that Wisconsin is in, beating an undefeated team that was the darlings, if you will. Everybody wanted to see if they could go undefeated in the semifinal. Duke beat Vegas that year, a year after losing to Vegas in the Final Four. And then they came back and they dominated Kansas in the final. So Now, that is Duke. That is a different team. That is 24 years ago. So, but there's certainly precedent. Wisconsin can come out and do this again. I really have a tendency to lean towards Wisconsin. Duke won that game in Madison, but remember this. I had a chance to watch a little bit of that game last night, the re-air of it. Rashid Suleiman, who's no longer on this Duke team, was a big part of that Duke win back in early December.
Yeah, he's not part of it, but Duke's playing awfully well. It's hard to go against Mike Krzyzewski in this situation. I'm not going to. I'll go with Duke. Doesn't matter. I'm wrong anyway. I had Kentucky to win it all, and I've lost to everybody but Duke, so it doesn't make any difference. My bracket was destroyed a long time ago. Just ignore me, okay? And then, of course, we will continue with our coverage of high school baseball as we'll have a simulcast of a huge game, a showdown for first place in the Catholic League Tuesday night between Rummel and Holy Cross from Kirsch-Rooney Stadium. That's a 7 o'clock start. You can listen to it on WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com, but you can also watch it live here at SportsNOLA.com.
Yeah, who would have thought when the season started? I mean, we the Catholic League, you had, differing opinions, but Rummel and Holy Cross playing for first place at this point, both undefeated. I think you would have probably not gotten a lot of people to tell you that. Obviously, Jesuit and Brother Martin have dominated this league over the last 8 years. One or the other has won the title, or in some cases they've tied for it. But here we are in a situation where one of these two teams is going to be 5-0 and in a great position going forward after Tuesday night.
Yeah, look forward to it. And, of course, we look forward to you watching and listening as well. Lenny, as always, thank you. Have a great week.
See you later this week.
And, oh, by the way, let's get the plug in now before we end. We'll talk about it at length on Friday, but Indy car racing coming to the New Orleans area. That's special.
Yeah, absolutely. First time ever. Indy Grand Prix of Louisiana, Friday through Sunday at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. And look, there's obviously Sunday afternoon is the big race, but there's a lot to do over the course of 3 days. It's a very family-friendly event, festival-type atmosphere. There's going to be a gigantic Ferris wheel right next to the track. You can be up in the Ferris wheel watching the cars on the track. That could be a lot of fun. It should make for a terrific atmosphere for a first-time event, and we encourage you to take part in it.
Look forward to it. That's our first NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Lenny, have a great week.
All right, see you later this week.
For Lenny, I'm Kenny. You have a great week as well, and God bless you.